All right. So today I picked a product that I do personally have experience with. Today I have a 1-star review from Amazon.com for a sunless tanner. The specific one is the Alba Botanica. Is that Jessica Alba's company?
Sounds like it, but I don't want to claim that.
Because was Alba...
Isn't she Honest Company? Or is that...
Oh, good point. Yes. And isn't that for babies? Okay, this has nothing to do with Jessica Alba. It's just called Alba Botanica. Sunless
this has
Tanner.
nothing to do with Jessica Alba at all.
That's going to be our title. This has nothing to do with Jessica Alba. Okay, this is written by Kristen M, and it's spelled Kristen.
Kristen.
And Kristen M's subject is actually pretty long, and this is all caps. No refunds! ! Husband, comma, quote. It smells like caps urine.
Oh God.
Stunk up everything. Washed bedding and stuffed animal. All uppercase first letters.
That's a lot for a title.
So here we go. Kristen M really wants us to know. And this is Kristen M's 1-star Amazon review for Alba Botanica Sunless Tanner.
Okay.
Warning! I tried to return this product, but received a message that there are no refunds. I didn't see that note when I bought it, but I just looked on the Amazon product page and I see the note now. Bummer. This product smells like a Hawaiian day right out of the tube. But within about 30 seconds of putting it on my legs, a putrid smell developed, which then permeated the air. My husband walked into the room and said, quote, caps, yuck! What is that smell? It smells like urine. Quote, oh, that's me. Quote, you peed? Quote, no, it's tanning cream. It stinks, huh? With a crunched up face, quote, all caps, yes. This urine smell got everywhere, even though I only put it on my legs. I can't imagine the trouble I would have had. Nope. I can't imagine the trouble I would have been in. Nope. I can't imagine the trouble I would have been in if I put it on my whole body or, God forbid, my face. Eek! I mistakenly thought that the smell would go away overnight. So I went to bed. Oh my goodness. What an awful sleep. We felt like we were sleeping in a urinal. We toughed it out because I really wanted a beautiful tan. Parentheses, my skin is alabaster. What a mistake. By the morning, the stench multiplied and it was on everything. Screw the tan. I stink. I jumped in the shower. Nope. I jumped into the shower and scrubbed my legs with a washcloth and soap 3 times in a row, and they still stunk. I had to wash my sheets and blanket, parentheses, even though they were fresh the night before, and hand wash my precious stuffed animal, parentheses, yes, I sleep with a stuffed animal. Quote, poor Pinky. I'm sorry, girl. Even 2 weeks later, the faint smell of urine saturates my nostrils. I get migraine attacks from smells, so that sucks. If you are sensitive to smell, caps, do not buy this product. I will say my legs looked tan, but who cares how nice your tan looks if everyone you encounter thinks you peed yourself?
Okay. How many months later was it still in their nostrils?
It says 2 weeks later.
Oh, 2 weeks, not months. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay.
Wait, I have a question. If you put sunless tanner on, why I would just never think to like change my bedding and then put sunless tanner on. That's all. I mean, Kristen lives their life, but like if I was gonna be putting lotiony stuff on or anything on, like I wouldn't want to do that right on top of fresh linen, but that's my thought.
Right. Well, here's, I guess, the larger question within that is, what is the expectation of a, sunless tanner? Because anytime I've ever seen a sunless tanner or anyone that uses sunless tanner, all of their stuff is just covered in sunless tanner. In fact, I won't call this person out, but when I was in college, I was an apprentice at Williamstown, which was an amazing summer, but we had to do a lot of jobs.
Like
in
Allison
addition to
Janney
the shows we did, like when Allison Janney asked me if I was hungover after I'd been picking up trash after a whole night of drinking. Yes. But I went and was cleaning someone's room who had a character that was supposed to have like a sunburn. So he was wearing sunless tanner all the time. And I had to change his sheets. Like, I think somebody had to change the sheets basically every single night because they were that gross. And he was like, if I'm going to wear this sunless tanner, I need somebody to change my sheets regularly. So I'm just curious, what is the expectation? Because I feel like it's a little bit of like playing in the devil's playground when you're going to do the sunless tanner.
Yeah. I mean, separate of like the odor, I do imagine that like, I mean, my first thought about sunless tanner, which I do have experience with because I am Scottish, but like
you're alabaster.
I am not even alabaster. I am see-through.
Casper.
I'm
Casper.
That's a little triggering because I used to be called powder. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like my first thought is how brown your palms
hands.
Yeah.
Gloves.
And I do know that like it does like come off because you're just putting tint onto your skin. So
right. So it's like, obviously some of it's going to come off. That's not really the main point. Obviously the main point of this review is the smell. So I want to talk about the smell. I have a couple thoughts.
Yep.
My first thought is that it sort of reminds me a little bit of the Manic Panic review with the reaction from the husband.
Yeah.
I'm wondering a little bit about the power of suggestion and if, Kristen M, in fact, would have thought that it smelled so bad from urine had the husband not had such a large reaction.
Wow.
It seems like to me, the process of this, heightened reaction was really, the domino really began when the husband identified the smell. In fact, when Kristen originally talks about the dialogue that she had with her husband and he makes this face, she says, what are you talking about? Right. So obviously at that point, if we're to follow the narrative, Kristen wasn't really impacted by the smell. As soon as the husband became impacted, which is when I assume maybe some embarrassment layered on to Kristen's experience, that was when all of a sudden everything went to a 100, So that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering, like, do we think there's a power of suggestion happening here?
I do think there's evidence for that. My counterpoint is, does that matter? Because if I'm reading this review, for some reason, I trust Kristen. Even if, because if there is an odor, I feel like either you pick up on it or someone else picks up on it.
Right, sure.
It is bad. But I even think reverse wise, if it smells like a Hawaiian day, that's artificial anyway. Like, I don't want any smell.
Well, I'm just wondering, because we have you here and because you said you've used the product, do you think that it smells like urine?
Well, I have not used Alba, but I have like used Neutrogena back in the day, which is just so stupid. I mean, like, it's so stupid because I'm so white that like I can't have tan arms. Like, you do have to put it everywhere. Kristen's point about like putting on your face, like, it just is insane. And then you have to like do the crevices of your, like, it doesn't work.
It's a lot of work.
It doesn't work. I'm supposed to look this disgustingly pale. I don't think it's disgusting, but whatever.
I mean, I just think it's interesting that at the end of the day, you know, Kristen did admit that it worked and that she had a good tan, you know? So I'm just wondering, like, you know how we discuss with Nair, like Nair has a terrible smell, but at the end of the day, it takes the hair off. So it's like this trade-off exchange that we do where it's like, all right, if I want to be lazy and just put cream on my body instead of shaving, then I need to deal with the smell, right? So I wonder if like your average you know, self tanner user, maybe their tolerance for the smell is actually a little bit higher because they can see, no pun intended, or pun intended actually, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right?
That was like pun on two ways.
Magic set. I know.
Wait,
but yeah, you know what I mean?
You're really bringing a really great point up, which I wasn't sure if I should include or not, but I did do a little, I was tickled by the review. So I looked up other reviews from Kristen M. And Kristen really mentions this sensitivity to smell producing migraines in multiple reviews. It seems like this might be something that is leading in Kristen's experience of life.
Sure.
So that also makes me wonder if
we trust her as like an average consumer,
if that makes it a typical experience, or if this is something that follows Kristen's experience of life around.
Yeah, I think that is interesting. And I think that is something to consider because I do think that there are people that probably are not that sensitive. It sounds like Kristen and her husband are both very, very sensitive to smells. And like, I do think the power of suggestion is playing in the exacerbate. I mean, come on, like we scrubbed our body for it. Like, it just seems like a very dramatic, you know? If I were Kristen, I think, does it say anywhere in the description, like scentless, odorless, scentless, all natural, like anything that like implies that this product would be the one that I'm going to choose if I'm a little bit sensitive to smells?
It doesn't say anything about smell, but it does say plant-based and cruelty-free.
Okay.
Natural looking results, golden tanning without the sun. It doesn't say anything about scent or odor.
Right. So, I mean, I just think if I were Kristen, again, we know I scour the reviews, you know, heavily, and I'm a big fan of the keyword. So if I were to, you know, I do get migraines too. Like I am sensitive to smells. So if I was worried about a product, I would go to the questions section and I would type in scent or smell and see if people had commented on it before I bought the product. Now, another thing that's interesting is, I don't know, like, what do you think about the whole return policy thing?
Yeah, that is interesting. I feel like we don't really cover that a lot on the podcast, but that is a lot of reviews on Amazon specifically. I mean, Kristen owns up. I mean, it is interesting. Like the first part of the subject is no refunds. And Kristen owns the fact that they did not catch that. And that's a bummer. So they're sort of like leading with, you can't return this. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like this isn't Neutrogena. I don't know the line of Alba. Like, I don't know what else they make, but like it isn't.
If it's a smaller mom and pop or smaller batch company, they can't afford to have people using the product, not liking it, and then wanting to return.
Also, this is a 4-ounce bottle.
Oh, get the heck out of here.
I know, that's another part of it. But to your last point, I do think it is valuable that I do think Kristen's experience is valuable. I feel like Kristen goes both extremes with truthful and shady. I think Kristen delves into both pots of gold in the truthful and shady, but ultimately, like, I don't think she's necessary. I don't think that Kristen's necessarily Karen-y, but no. I don't think that the return thing, I think it's good to note. I think there's value that they're leading with, like, just heads up, it smelled for me and you can't return it. The spelling and grammar is pretty great. I mean, there's not really issues here. I think it might be, I'm not sure if it's typical. I don't think that I have such a sensitivity to odor as Kristen does. I don't really experience that, but you sort of mentioned that you get migraine. So there's some value there. The humor, I love that we find out about Pinky. And
Yes.
that, you know, with the name they had to have, that's like, you know, I think it's an entertaining review.
I LOL'd at the my face. Eek.
Eek. Yeah, I think that there is a large impact for me here because I'm entertained by Kristen. I even went on a Kristen voyage. I wanted to find other reviews.
Right.
So
I wonder about the deal breaker category and how much
Yeah.
that should be like impacting the rating of the review as I'm thinking about this with Kristen. Cause like, I just feel like if I read this review, I might be like, okay, good to know it smells, good to know it stains, good to know, like, I'm going to need to wash everything, whatever. But it leaves a great tan. So like, would that make me not want to buy the product? I don't know. And how much should that weigh in? I'm not sure.
Well, I
That's
have
the
a
only thing
question as well, because it does make me think I need to look and see if other people are struggling with the odor. I'm
Right,
also just
exactly.
really back to the original point about influence from the spouse, because we do know that the husband is willing to tolerate Kristen snuggling Pinky.
Yeah.
So maybe like they're at their threshold for tolerating things with Kristen.
Pinky was like, it really filled the.
If you have
I
Pinky,
mean, listen,
you
I
can't
think
have
that
smell.
Kristen should be able to sleep with Pinky if Kristen wants to sleep with Pinky. I think that that's okay. I think it's nice that she is opening up with vulnerability about being an adult with a stuffed animal. I don't have a problem with that. All right, I think I'm ready to crown Kristen. Are you, Trey? Is there anything we're not considering before the crowning that we should be?
I don't think so. I think I can crown.
Okay, I think we've done Kristen, due diligence.
I think so too. So
okay,
let's get to the other side of this rainbow and crown it. So Chelsey and I each have our own set of 1 to 5 crown cards, and in an effort to be fair and not influence one another, we will simultaneously reveal our ratings.
The queens are tabulating. Total score.
Okay, I'm holding up 3 crowns. Trey is holding up 4 crowns for Kristen M. I'm doing the 3 crowns because it's a little above middle of the road for me. There were no spelling errors. Got a little bit of a chuckle out of it. That's where most of the points are coming from. I don't know if this is a deal breaker, and I'm a little weary of the whole power of influence and allowing our husbands to kind of define our experience of a product that we're ultimately using for our own kind of self-love. So with that sort of, trepidation with the authenticity, I decided to go with 3 crowns. How about you? Why 4 for Kristen?
I said 4 because ultimately I was charmed, and I feel like it's a valid experience. So it makes me want to do a little more research, which makes me think that there is a lot of stock in this review. And also that like it did work, but it was stinky. And so ultimately also then pointing out that there's no refund. Like if Kristen didn't catch that and they were sort of suckered, that keeps me from being suckered. So that's why I said 4. I didn't give all 5 crowns because I'm not sure that everyone finds it to be so stinky. So that's why I said 4, because I think the impact is relatively high for me.
Wow. I mean, thanks, Kristen M, for contributing to today's episode of Review That Review. We appreciate your opinion, and we hope that Pinky survived the washing machine.
Yeah. Yeah. Long live Pinky.
Yes.